Welcome back to 843 TV. We have the pleasure of being rejoined by Suzn Stewart, a member here at Spring Island. And we were talking about the golf course and all that. And then we want to talk about something a little bit different. Are you the chicken lady? I hear that there's these chickens on Spring Island that you may be in charge of. What can you tell us about that?
Well, last spring we presented to the membership that we have chickens, and a lot of people thought we were just had bird brains. They thought we were nuts. It did pass, and in October we had 36 one-day-old chicks arrive at the post office, and they stayed in my house until the weekend after Thanksgiving.
Whoa.
They outgrew their brooder and their coop, so they ended up in the back of our Ford pickup truck, which became known as the Ford Coupe.
That's nice.
But we have 7 different varieties: Barred Rocks, Silver Wyandottes, Buff Orpingtons, and they all have names.
Mm-hmm.
And we have eggs now from green all the way to white.
Wow.
And it really has just been so great. For Easter and holidays, everyone brings their grandchildren over, and they just love watching the chickens. Even some of our older residents take daily visits. People bring them treats, and it's become quite successful.
And I heard something I have to ask about, the female impersonator. What is that?
Well, I think sexing a one-day-old chick is probably a science unto itself. So after about 12 weeks, there were 3 chickens that really stood out. And I was in denial that they weren't all what we thought they were, but when we heard them crowing on the golf course, we knew that we had some female impersonators. So Ruby became Rusty, and Christy became Chris, and we just didn't want to get into the business of raising baby chicks, so we had to find another home. But currently we're getting 2 dozen eggs a day.
Oh, wow.
And the person who tends the flock for the week is called the chicken tender. We have 29 people that take care of the chickens, and they get a dozen for their work, and then they take some of the eggs to the restaurant, and they take the rest of the eggs to the fitness center for any of the members to just pick up out of the cooler there.
Wow.
You can't beat fresh eggs.
I was going to say, in this world of organic, it doesn't get much more farm to table than that.
No, we can't claim totally organic, but they are pampered chickens, and the yolks in the eggs are a bright orange, and you just know you're eating healthy.
Yeah, that's great.
They have a pretty fancy house too, don't they?
They have a wonderful coop. It's sometimes referred to as the Bitty Bungalow, sometimes the Peckingham Palace, sometimes
I think the Peckingham Palace is appropriate.
Palace Poulet, but we really call it the best little hen house on Spring Island.
I know. You're right. I love reading your weekly update.
The Chicken Chronicles have been a lot of fun.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
We wrote one last week. The chickens really thought that it was Chico de Mayo and not Cinco de Mayo, so they had their own celebration.
I know. I love them in the hats and everything. They're just beautiful. Well, speaking of birds, I know that Chris Marsh, he's the head of the trust, and he's an ornithologist, and we have a big bluebird program here. Are you a part of that?
I am a bluebird, I am one of the volunteers. We have 270 houses on Spring Island that 50 volunteers monitor over a 23-week period. And if you can believe it, it is so exciting. First of all, you have to notate what kind of nest. It could be titmouse, it could be chickadee, it could be a bluebird. So you learn something about what the birds are using as the materials for their nest. You'll look at one nest and it's got cigarette filters. It's got air conditioning filters. It's got green moss. They're beautiful. It's a beautiful construction. But anyway, you learn what bird builds what nest. And then you count the eggs, and then when they hatch, you count the hatches, and then you count the fledges. And we send all this information to Cornell. And there are a lot of us that are doing this, but we've increased our fledge rate on our bluebird population 12% over the last year.
That's a big jump in a year.
Yes, and we've added some predator protections on the bottom of the poles, and we've put the houses where they're, safer. But it is a fascinating program, and obviously well attended when you get 50 people to go out and look in birdhouses for 23
that's incredible.
weeks.
And y'all build the houses too, don't you?
They build the houses, and they build the snake protection, and Al Gerber runs that program, and he really gets a lot of people to sign up for it.
I know.
I could do without the snake part, though. So let's talk about the garden in the background. Obviously, this is a huge space. People are working on the vegetables as we speak. How does this program work, and how do people in the community take care of this program?
So we are here at Waterfall Farm, and it's a 4-acre farm, and it is planted twice a year. And it is totally tended by volunteers, which we lovingly refer to as the Tuesday Hoes. I think it's hilarious. So we have a summer crop that is planted now, and every variety of squash, every variety of tomato, corn, okra, I mean, it just goes on and on and on. So we will pick vegetables, and they plant in succession, so it doesn't all come due at the same time. We will, the community will just come out, and as long as, you know, we're 20 minutes away from a grocery store, but as long as you have your protein, everyone comes here to get their vegetables for dinner every night.
Yeah,
it really is
there's
amazing.
nothing better than picking your dinner.
And we'll have excess, so we give that to neighborhood churches, we give it to a food bank in Bluffton, and we take it to our restaurants also. So on the menu, you'll see, you know, eggplant from Waterfall Farm on our menu.
Oh, your fresh veggies.
So it's been 12 years getting to where we are now, but it's a very, very successful program.
Oh, I think that's wonderful.
And we were, you know, it's funny because you're involved in so many things, and a lot of people here are in a lot of different clubs and groups, and I think that kind of speaks to the personal connections that are made here. And you're going on a big vacation with a group of friends, right? Where y'all going?
We're going biking in Sicily.
Wow.
So there are 8 of us that are going to meet in Rome and truck down to Sicily and ride across the island for a week.
That's awesome.
But there are a lot of members that will see each other off season, visit each other in their homes away from Spring Island, and it is a wonderful, close-knit community.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for sharing some information with us. We got a lot of information. You're doing a lot of things here, and keep up the good work.
Well, thank you very much.
And stay with us. We'll be back with more 843 TV.